Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. I'm your humble host, Mr. David Null, also known as Hawkeye Two Feathers, and I greet you with the love and the honor of the infinite creator. And I continue to pray that each and every day, that each and every one of you will continue to learn how to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many blessings from the universe. Greetings and salutations, all my friends and neighbors out there, and I hope that you are doing the best that you can under your circumstances. So, with that, the topic for this morning's discussion, if that might be what it is called persistence and patience. Hey, Michelle, how are you? And I kind of sort of sent a message to you earlier. I love you too, sweetie. And I use the talk to text, and the message got a little messed up today. But um, this persistence and patience came up a couple of days ago. And as many of you know, there are sometimes I get subjects from the universe, and I like to cogitate on them a couple of days and just kind of see what kind of. So what do you mean by persistence? What do you mean by patience? What is patience in the universe? Well, patience in the universe, hi that way, how you doing? Witch moon, how are you? Yeah, what else can we do, right? But Hey, Miss Pearl, how are you? But in many, if you have a project, in order to complete it, you have to be persistent. And sometimes projects, take a bit of patience. If you're working with the people and doing things, and sometimes when things don't work out quite the way you want them to, you gotta, you can be frustrated and throw down your scissors or whatever, and unplug that glue gun if you're working on a project or whatever it might be. And I'm just thinking of crazy projects I've worked on in the past, but in that, sometimes, you just have to, your patience will get thin, and you will think that being persistent is a dumb idea. You'll want to give up, throw your hands up, and say, the hell with this. But if it's a really good idea and if it's really worth pursuing, then you will get back on the horse. Hey, Barry, how are you? You will get back on the horse, as they say, and you will um, be persistent in whatever it is that you may be, needing to work on. And so, like I was in my little description for this, I was using a garden kind of sort of as an example. So you can go out and till the garden and get the ground ready and everything, and you can plant your seeds, and that's all. You got to be persistent in that. You got to do that. You got to prep the ground, and then you got to put your seeds in. You got to water it, and then you got to give it love and attention, and hope that the seeds are good and then you have to be patient that the seeds will come up and provide you with whatever it is that you planted, whether it be flowers or lettuce or tomatoes or whatever it is you may be growing. But there's patience in that. So people can understand the patience in that. So the seeds of life that we sow, yeah, get this one. The seeds of life that we sow, the things, ideas that we present to people, things that we want to discuss, or artworks maybe that we want to work on, or a story we want to write, or a picture we want to paint, or whatever it may be that we want to make a good we want to make a good meal for someone. Hey, Witch Moon, hope you're doing well. And so with that, we want to there is there is patience in how we do those loving things, right? And if we want to cook a good meal, then we're persistent. We cut the veggies up just right, and we add the right ingredients to the stew or whatever it is. So, and we're persistent in that we want to make the meal good for whoever it is we're cooking it for. And or whatever the project is. So there's persistence and there's patience. Because, too many cooks can spoil the broth, as the old saying goes. So you're persistent and you prepare everything correctly. And then the patience is waiting for it to cook. You can't, if you keep opening the door to the oven, you let the heat out. And no, you got to be patient, right? So, in all things in life, so the ideas that we sow, whatever they may be, like, let's get together and have dinner. Okay. So, that's a simple seed that we can sow that we can all kind of get our heads around, right? We're all going to meet together and we're going to have a potluck dinner. Or I'm cooking, y'all just show up. And if you'll bring some bread and you bring some wine and you bring some sodas for the kids, and we're going to get together and have barbecue. All y'all got to do is just show up. Somebody bring some tater chips and dip, and but we got. So with that said, that's an idea, a spark that you put out to the universe, to your friends or neighbors or whatever it might be. And so that sparked that idea. There's patience in that. Well, we're going to have Super Bowl Sunday. I guess that's coming up, ain't it? But anyway, so folks are going to get together and blah blah blah. And but you're patient, and then you got to wait for the day to come. You're persistent in that all week long you're making plans so that when it comes time for the whatever the event is, and people start showing up, and you've got the drinks and you've bought the meat or whatever it is that you're going to be cooking. So that's the persistence during the week before you have your friends come over for a barbecue. And then it's the patience of waiting for everybody to get there and making. So there are all these things that are tied up into a small event, such as just having some friends come over for dinner. But in life, though, everything demands persistence. I mean, every day that I get up, I have to take my heart medicines. I have to persistently get on my case and make sure that I take my meds. And I have to be patient because there are times like on this last Sunday, my heart felt weak for some reason. And I was just like, oh man, crap in a bag. I hope tomorrow's a better day. So Sunday was being patient so that Monday would be a better day. And yesterday was, and today was a little better. And tomorrow I go to the heart doctor, by the way. But anyway, in this though, there's persistence. If I want to keep living, I got to keep taking these meds, and I got to keep working on my health, and I have to be persistent every single day to keep up with this. And at the same time, when I'm feeling a little off, I have to be patient because sometimes that feeling will go away, you see. So persistence and patience, just as I was kind of reflecting over this topic, I was like, you know what? Man, just everything in life kind of can be not necessarily judged or regulated or whatever, but, you know, persistence and patience. It's in everything we do. Um, Sometimes the persistence is, you got to get up every day and go to work. You know, for how many years did I get up and go to work and play that game? You know, and so but so that I could provide for my family and so that I could provide for myself as well. But, you know, in that you had to go to work every day to pay the mortgage off. You had to be persistent, right? You had to get in the car, and for me, I had to drive 50 miles one way and then when it was time to come home, I had to drive 50 miles home. Persistence. But during the drives, I had to be patient, you know, because I couldn't make the time go any faster. I had to take the time as it was, in that hour long drive going back and forth to work. So, and there were times when I was like, man, screw this. I'm tired of this drive. But the money was good, and I had to be persistent in the fact that, and after they relieved me of my job, and there wasn't another job out there. So I had to be persistent in that if I want to keep this job, if I want to continue to make the money that I was making, I have to be patient and be persistent every day and show up for work and do what the boss man tells me. And yes, sir, boss man, and no, sir, boss man. So we have to be persistent in that we got to tolerate whatever crap we have to do during the day to make it. And we have to be patient because we have to look at the bigger picture. I'm paying my mortgage off. I'm paying off my car. I'm buying a new bicycle. I'm whatever it might be. So, but in order to achieve anything in life, persistence and patience seems to be right there in everything that we do. So, if you want to be spiritual, if you want to learn about the universe, you have to be persistent. You have to keep trying, you know. But at the same time, you have to be patient. You can't rush it. So, physically, you can't just say, well, I'm going to be an Olympic swimmer, yeah, or I'm going to be an Olympic winner, swimmer. I'm going to be an Olympic winner of anything. No, you got to go out and you got to practice. You got to be persistent every day. You got to get up and you got to exercise and you got to practice and you got to and 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 as much as you want to like be that winner tomorrow, you have to be patient. Sometimes you have to go through different trials and different things and da, 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 da. Hey, Miss Chloe. And so, but all of these things require patience. Well, I've got to train. And during that training, I have to have the bigger picture in mind. I have to be patient and work my muscles up. So there are all these things, no matter what you wish to achieve in life. Hey, Chloe, how are you? But my dog, something is wrong. Okay. And so I'll send a prayer to the dog. What's the dog's name? And and with all of for those of us who have aches and pains, which are most of us anymore, we have to, you have to be persistent. Every day I got to do my little exercises, and every day I got to get up with Duggar, and every day we got to go take a walk, and every day we need to. And come to think of it, we didn't take our walk up all the way to the top of the driveway today. We did walk around the yard because I had some visitors, um, but the idea though that there are times when we feel desperation that takes over our patience. Fear creeps in, the fear of not doing it right, or the fear that we might not be good enough, or fear of the universe, or fear that you might lose your job and not be able to pay the bills. And there are fears that come in to sabotage your persistence. Because when you're afraid of something, you're not necessarily hell bent for election to get her done. Because if there's fear in the way, then you go, well, maybe I shouldn't do this. Or maybe, well, I don't know if I should go walk in the woods. I might step on a snake. Yeah, but when was the last time I saw a snake in the woods? A long time ago, but that's not the point. They still live there. Fear and frustration, absolutely, Witch Moon, because frustration is kind of sort of the opposite of patience. So you're trying to be persistent, but then some kind of fear clogs it. And you say, well, I want to get this done, but it's not getting done on time or it's not going the way I want to. So your persistence changes because when now you don't really want to do it as well. And there have been some projects I'm like, man, I wish to hell I'd never started this mess. And not I wished I still haven't finished my porch is what I'm thinking about. And my persistence, well, I had a heart attack and I've had some other issues. So that slowed my project down. But it's been another year now and my floor still ain't done out there, right? So there things kind of got in the way of my persistence, right? The heart attack, different pills, going to the doctors, all these other things, which have just kind of clogged my persistence. Okay. Because I was hell bent, I was mixing concrete. I got out of the hospital and like less than 10 days later, well, it was 2 weeks. I was mixing concrete, to finish off a spot out here. I haven't mixed any since. So I somehow along the way I've lost my persistence in getting her done. I've gotten other things accomplished and stuff, but not like I was doing 6 months ago. You see, so something has happened with persistence on my part, but persistence can get messed with for whatever fears or junk life will just get in the way and make that persistence kind of drop away. But and our patience will wear thin to the point where I've lost my will, my drive, my persistence, if you will, and I just don't have any patience anymore. And then whatever project it was you were working on just simply ceases, you know. And so right now my porch has not had any work done on it. So I want to get my persistence back. I want to, you know, I've been waiting. Patience is not an issue, but, other things have. So, but in life, there are things that, get in folks' way. And it makes that, that want to be there tomorrow. I want to do a good job tomorrow. I want to get up and feel light on my feet and go to work with a smile on my face and do a good job and instead of oh crap, man, I got to go to work in the morning and holy crap and so that will make your patience wear thin. That will allow fear and frustration to come in. That will allow these other emotions to interrupt your persistence, you know, and it will try and test your patience on so many levels, right? So, but life, and so in my little description about this, I'm like, if this isn't the key to life, or one of the keys to life and understanding, that if you can understand these basic principles of persistence, like I gotta be, do this every day. If you want, if you've got people want to go, off grid, well, okay, I got a cow, I got a goat, I got a thing. Well, you got to feed them every single day. You get a milk cow, you got to go out and be persistent. You got to milk that cow every single day. So, if you're working on a farm and you want vegetables, you got to go out and work the garden. You got to go out and till it. You have to be persistent in what you do, and you have to be patient in that. But if you think you're just going to be able to just sit idly by, life ain't going to be that way. And there are a lot of people who are getting by now these days without having to worry about persistence. They don't really care about tomorrow. Um, and patience is just like, everybody's playing these games that give and some type of instant gratification. So patience is wearing thin with people. If they can't have it now, well then, so a lot of people ain't looking for the the broader picture or the long plan. They're just concerned about short-term gratification, or instant gratification if you're playing a game and it's flashing lights and all that kind of good stuff. And um, you know, so their patience, they ain't got any because they got to win this game and they got to do it right now and they have to play it and they can't, you know. So where's the patience these days? And I would say that it's wearing thin in a lot of ways. I'm persistent and being patient. I was thinking of that earlier that way. It's a good thing that you pop that in there. So I guess I could say that I'm persistent in that I'm still breathing. I refuse to quit breathing. Although Sunday was a strange day in the old chest area heart thing, I just want to interject here, but it actually kind of had me scared a little bit, but it's okay now. It is what it is. I'm going for a checkup tomorrow, but I was thinking about persistence and patience the other day. And I was thinking, I've got to get up and take my meds as though, it's 6 feet over there to my couch bed thing. And I was like, but I can't get up. I could not get up. So I had to be patient and just kind of just weather through whatever my body was going through on Sunday. And I was like, man, I just, whoa, whatever it is outside the window. Calm down, Duggar. It's all right. Sometimes I'll literally pee a little bit when he does that, just out of nowhere, jumping and go to barking and growling. But anyway, but sometimes when we don't feel well or something, we just have to be persistent in the fact that we just gotta chill down. We gotta let our bodies recuperate and heal. And we've got to persistent in our thinking in that I'm going to get better. It'll be okay. Right now, it's just a hurdle I got to get over, or a slump, or whatever it might be. And that we have to be persistent in our thinking that tomorrow could be a better day. And so it's not always better, but if we think tomorrow's, it'll be better tomorrow. It'll be better tomorrow. If it ain't, then we can say, well, the next day will be better. We can always project tomorrow as the next day. So, even if it don't turn out as good as we'd like, we can still be positive about it. That's the persistence of life. So we are, Chloe and Michelle and us, we are persistent in our way of thinking, in that no matter, yeah, we can have bad days and yeah, we can be depressed, but we're persistent in that our goal is to find the good things, the positive things in life, and that we're going to make it through. We're going to be patient, and we're going to take each day one step at a time, and we're going to get through it. Right? Right, y'all? So, and if you agree, just that's good enough. Just nod your heads. Rattle that brain around a little bit. Like a bobblehead in the window in the car. Anyway, um, I'm thinking of the little hula girl. Anyway, never mind. We got a good record getting through it this far. Yeah, I mean, we're all still here, and for however we have muddled through it, we're still here, and so that should give you courage, and go, well, I've made it. Um, Not a clue as to what tomorrow is going to bring, but have made it this far. You know, have stumbled and fallen and broken a actually, I was gonna say I've broken a bone or two, but that would be a lie. I have had other people break my bones, but when I got my leg broken playing football, but I haven't really had my ribs cracked. But as far as any other really broken bones, I don't. I've cut myself a bunch. I've a bunch. And so I've been sewed back together and stuff. Hey, Niles, how are you? Um, Other days go by in a blink. Oh my goodness gracious. Don't you know it? I think there are these universal waves that are still out there in the universe. And I think a lot of us are having heavy days, Witch Moon. But I would agree with you. Yeah, there are some times that the ecstasy, you know what the ecstasy for me is? Not having agony. Depain, depain. Was just speaking to someone about the structure of grief. Yeah, grief can be a tough thing, a tough thing. Yeah, I remember, and next month I'm coming up on an anniversary. I think it was 2013, so this is 2023, so it'll be 10 years ago. Will be my anniversary of the almost drowning in the Oclockney River. And when you say drowning, I think of what I felt like when I was under the water, looking up and thinking, "Oh, holy crap! This is what drowning really feels like." Because I was, you know, oh, holy crap! And that heavy feeling, and oh, holy crap! And having gone through all the years of mental health and bipolar and whatever they said I was, and it changed from time to time, what their uh, diagnosis of me was. But they all pretty much agreed I was crazy. But in my craziness, All I wanted to do, my goal was to understand. My goal was to get in control. My goal was to stop these crazy thoughts that were just all over the place, and how do I gather them together, and how do I keep the crazies out of my brain and for me and doing stupid shit. My son said those same words tonight about drowning. I have mentally been drowning a bunch of years, and I have physically went through the drowning. But the physical drowning relates, I can relate it to my mental drowning. I mean, I get it. I get it because it was at night when my kayak um, capsized, and my friend was in the canoe with a headlamp on, and I could see the light through the water as I was sinking to the bottom. Um, and so, hey, Travis, how are you? In the mental illness of it, you feel trapped and weighted down, and to look up out of your grave, if you will, to see the light of the universe to get you out of your funk. Um, for me, I'm like, I get the two, the physical and the mental. And I went through a bunch of mental years before I had the physical drowning experience. So that was a weird way of, to your question, Travis, do I hear voices in my head? It's hard to explain. Sometimes it's just a feeling. Sometimes it's well, like for tonight, the subject of, persistence and patience. So they send me this message, and, two words, and here you go. Um, so did they really speak to me? Well, the over the last few days, as I've been chewing my cud on the subject, it has unraveled itself. The topic has unraveled itself for conversation, right? So, did they really talk to me about it? Well, I've read things, watched some things, and heard some things in the last couple of days that have kind of given me clues and little hints. So, did they actually talk to me? Now, there are times when they're like, Hawkeye, sit down and listen, like, pay attention. Yes, sir, or yes, ma'am, or yes to both y'all, or whatever. There is something these days. People are going nuts. So many strange murderers, people who know each other, they're trying to kill one another. Yep, there are some strange goings on. I would absolutely agree, Niles. Um, there are some people that I have tried to get closer to in my old age, and just I'm 70, for crying out loud, and I know that I've had 70 years. I I don't think I got another 70. So let's just consider, whatever has gone by in the past, can we just, put make let bygones be bygones? Can we patch things up? Can you quit being mad, for crying out loud? I gave up being mad a long time ago, but there are people who are still mad at me. And it's like, no, I can't get over this, and I don't want to get over this, and it's been like this for the last 15 years, so why should I get over it? Well, then go ahead continue to live in misery, then, go right ahead. But at the same time, in a way that, you know, have wanted to reach out in peaceable manner to anyone, all y'all. I mean, so to reach out to people and be peaceable and lend a hand in any way, shape, or form, and to say, okay, part of my reason for doing this channel, let's all get together, let's be peaceable and friendly, and let's learn how to work through problems together, and at least give moral support to one another. And these are positive things we can do. We can support each other with persistence by sending prayers to Chloe's dog who's feeling ill. Um, Schizophrenia is not a nasty word, it's just another way of experiencing reality. Yep. Now, speaking of schizophrenia, um, I have talked about this way back in the day, but since I'm kind of sort of on it right now. So, in my wanting to get better as a human being and to correct my mental state, I realized that, and I read it in a fictional book, and it was one of the things, and it was about a tribe of one. There was a character in there that had different personalities. And so one of his personalities was a magician. One of his personalities was like a scout. One of his personalities was a politician and a gabby mouth. Another one was the jester, and another one was a religious shaman type person. And so all of these personalities resided within this mage. And so, in his explaining of his travelings around to different communities and stuff, he considered himself a tribe of one. And so, for myself, I realized in order to control my emotions, I had, and for him, he had like a, it wasn't a team leader, but it was like the chief. Okay. And it was the master. So of his personalities, there was the master, and all the other personalities, regardless, had to listen to the master. And so I realized that in my lifetime, my thoughts and personalities and so forth had become so scattered that I myself had lost my master. I had lost my control of me. This one would come over and take control. This one would come over and take control. Oh, I'd cry, or then I'd be happy, or then I'd become the drunkard, or then I'd become the whatever. But there was no master of the house. There was no chief of my tribe of one, of me being me. I had no, there was, I was just all over the place. So I used this, and I learned for myself that I had to learn to be my own camp counselor. I had to be the grown up in the room. And then say, Dave, no, no, you can have those crazy thoughts, but no, stop it, quit. No, the master of my house says that's unacceptable behavior. And we, as this tribe of personalities, have agreed to listen to the master of the house. We've agreed to listen to the chief. We've agreed to listen to the camp counselor. So the camp counselor was me kind of channeling my spirit guide because I had quit listening. And so, where their voices, sometimes it was like, no, don't do that, dumbass. Don't do it. Don't be stupid. Remember you were stupid before? Oh, hell yeah, I remember. Oh, okay, thank you. A warning shot across the bow, if you will. So, who was it that asked the question? Anyway, so there are times when I hear voices, there are times when there are just imprints of a thought, but it can contain a whole bunch of words and conversations. And then there are times when they're just pictures, not necessarily movies, but pictures. Sometimes there's little clips, little AVI files, little MPEG files that just neat little spurts of something. No, I think for some people, those thoughts become overwhelming. We cannot tell who is the camp counselor. Well, see, that's where I had to give in and admit that my higher self, I was ignoring my higher self. I was ignoring certain practical things. Well, okay, Dave, why did you do that? I don't know. I just did it. And then you go, well, that was dumb. You were a dumbass. And you go, you're right. Well, why didn't you stop and think? I don't know. So then when you realize when that id, when that personage, when that personality starts asking questions to yourself, why the hell did you do that? And you answer, I don't know. And then the other part says, well, are you going to do that stupid shit again? No, I think I'm going to try to avoid it. So you're having a conversation with the self, right? You're having conversation with your own id, if you will. And so the one that's being practical, it's your id. That's the one that becomes the camp counselor. That's the one who's going, wait a minute, I ain't saying it's a bad idea, but I am saying you need to sit down and shut up and think about it a minute. Don't go running off out there with this wild idea. I'm not saying it's a bad one, but what I'm saying is you need to sit down and ponder it a minute. Be patient, you know. So it's not auditory craziness that is making you hurt yourself and possibly. Oh, I my inner self was that wanted to hurt my. I never wanted to hurt anybody else. I always wanted to just not be here because I always felt that I wasn't good enough. Period. I'm not good enough to be here. I'm not qualified to be here. Everything that I tried to be, if I got a job as a flipping hamburgers, by the end of a certain period of time, they put me in charge of flipping hamburgers. If it was whatever, um, I always ended up being the team leader somehow without trying to be the team leader because I was just persistent and patient and had a good work ethic. I, like when I was in jail, I came out of population and ended up being, in the officer's dining room, you know. Um, So, it was because of persistence. I didn't kiss anybody's ass. I didn't do any kind of oral whatever on nobody or nothing to get my what. No, I did my job and I did it well. I was respectful and it that came through. So it was my persistence and my patience again, but even in jail, I was able to come literally out of solitary into the officer's dining room after being busted from population to population. as a trustee. But that's an old story that I've told many times. But to the point though, that's proof to me, in life. And it's my, hey, don't give up, be persistent, and tough it out and be patient. And you too can rise to the top, even in a crappy situation. So, but if you give up hope, then whatever it is will drown you. But so with the personal feelings and psychosis, the medicines were making me just as nutty as my own psychosis. But I think the angels were trying to talk to me. This is my personal craziness, and I just refused to listen. My spirit guides were trying to guide me, and for a couple of years, they just gave up on my ass, and I knew it. I was like, "You guys used to like step in and help me," and they were like, "I get, you're on your own, dude." And I was like, but, it, I had to I had to dig my own grave and stand in it and look up and go, I don't want to be here. I've got to make a change. And so, in making the change, I had to pin things together like, who is my camp counselor? Who is in charge of me? Is it the plumber? Is it the carpenter? Is it the storyteller? Is it the puppeteer? Is it the auto mechanic? Is it the is it and these are personalities within myself. So who am I today? And which crazy path might I be led down with no, you know, CEO of the place, my internal, and so I realized that, wait a minute, somebody has got to be the chief in that discussion of the law of one. So here's this mage with all these different personalities, and he would literally slip into these personalities and become these people. They had names and personalities, and I was like, but that's kind of sort of like me in a lot of ways. So I took this fictional book about, someplace off in some kind of hinterland, but the insight that this author had with describing this mage as a tribe of one. So that we all have a tribe of one. Each one of us is a tribe of one. Some people have 20 personalities, some people only have a couple. you know those may be the talents that we're are given. you know Let me go back up here. And you too, which moon, what is it, what is different these days, Dave? Because something is different. People are losing their minds. It's not like before. It's like people are giving up, and they are. So it's not auditory craziness. um No, the auditory craziness, I know that there are some folks who are getting that, but I live so far out in the country. Now, there are times when I have had some auditory communications. I mean, it's like I can literally hear it. And then there are times when I hear it, but it's thoughts. Like this entity that I met up in Ohio that time when I was at the petroglyphs, the one that instructed me on how to take the pictures of the orbs and everything. When that entity spoke to me, it wasn't in words, it was in thoughts. We were doing some kind of mind meld thing. And it was many, many moons ago, years ago, that it happened. Um, but people are going crazy because in having these instant gratifications, there is no patience. So their minds are going, and they don't have a camp counselor to tell them, okay, put your phone down. Okay, quit playing the game. Yeah, but no, you've just had enough. No, but I mean, so there, what is that it? What is that, that thing that says, okay, that's enough. Yeah, but I'm just one more piece of pie. That's enough. No, just one more, self-control, you know, they feel their future is out of a lot of people feel that their future is out of their control. There are certain parts of their future that may be out of their control, but there's always a workaround. So, but there's so much negativity about so many things, and we're all going to die. We're supposed to be dead by now. Those folks who said those weird waves of energy were going to hit us by the middle of January. Dave's still waiting. you know, did we get hit with some energy waves? Yeah, we have, but our we were supposed to have like flipped a switch middle of January, and we were going to be in the lower fourth dimension. Sorry, gang, we ain't there yet. There was no bright flash. There was no jump to the next. They lied to us again. Well, see, Niles, with the schizophrenia, having a camp counselor that is like lucid comes in handy. Nope, it doesn't. Well, yeah, I do think it does matter in a way because where you live influences your life. So if I were living in Tampa, I'd be living in traffic and congestion and all these people and psychoses and all this stuff around me that would be driving me flipping crazy. And I'm down here on the edge of the woods, and all I got to listen to are the spirits around me versus literally people around me. So I do think that where you live does have something to do with it. Um, but as far as it doesn't matter where you live, that you can still get out of your head, you can still take control, you can still manage your life, you can still be persistent in like whatever life throws me, I'm going to make through it. And then every day you're patient in that you listen to the universe and maybe your own spirit guides, and you learn to accept and receive from the universe, and these are guide steps that help you make it through the chaos. You are talking about being the people who feel this way do not like reality. No, Niles, if you're talking about me, no, I'm not thinking about that at all. What I'm thinking of is that people are convinced that they're in jail and can't do anything about it. And even when I was in jail, there was something I could do about it. That's my point. People feel tethered and there's no way around this. I've got to go through this. Well, Yes, I broke the law and I was in jail and I had to serve my sentence. But how I served it was up to me, you see. So there are people out there that feel like they have been a, a life sentence, so but there are workarounds, and it's your own presence and your own state of mind. So, and I don't think it's any kind of phantasm or anything, but somebody else's reality. They would say, well, the life sucks. Well, okay, go ahead then. Life sucks, and that's how you're going to look at it. So life then just sucks. Okay, all right, but I choose, even though I'm digging in horse shit up to my waist, I'm just, glad to have a job, and I get to go home in a couple hours, and I got food on the table and I can take a shower, but if you persist in life sucks, then that's how it's going to be. I know a person who screams at voices in their head and believes the voices over real people and talks about hurting the real people. Oh, see, that's just plumb craziness there, Travis. I was not like that. I was refusing to listen to my spirit guides. And that, I know what's best. And they were like, yeah, go ahead. And I just made mistake after mistake. It's ironic that the greatest invention we have ever seen, which brought all of us together and shared information and connection, turned out to be our ultimate destruction, the internet. See, I don't look at it that way, Niles. I don't see the internet as being our destruction. It's part of our present, and if we use it correctly, it will be a good part of our future in ways that we can communicate with each other, in ways that we can be creative and be artful, and people share music and artwork and poetry and ideas and politics. And so I don't think it's going to be our ultimate destruction. I think man's stupidity and how they use the internet is going to be their destruction. The internet is not destroying me. I'm using it to my benefit. I use it to learn about how to catfish with, you know, with um, with pool noodles. I'm, I'm so no, to me, the internet is not, there are folks who the AI is going to get us all. We love you, Bob, by the way. um, so here's something about AI. Let me put this to you because it came up a couple of weeks ago and it's been kind of took a back seat, but it's a really good thing about AI. And so, what does AI mean? Well, these people are using the AI and they're asking AI to run scenarios. So if we do this, like Russiagate against Trump, what's going to be the outcome? Or what if we run Biden and he becomes the Democrat? What so they run these scenarios. So the movers and shakers are following these scenarios. So they plug in the information and then AI gives them, quote, the answer or one of the answers or a possible answer. So these idiots, okay, hey, Isby, I've been sending prayers your way. I hope you're doing better. I was talking about earlier when you said wanted to get away from how you felt into fantasy. Okay, now it's about the fantasy. It was my own brain that was having the fantasy, but it had nothing to do with reality or other people. It was my own brain in there talking back and forth. But anyway, I didn't have a fantasy about the world. My fantasy was in my own brain. Yeah, Niles, I agree with you. There's a lot of there. There are so many different people out there who are selling Armageddon, and that there are wishing for the apocalypse to happen because it says so in the Bible. It has to happen. They've got now. I look at my earlier videos 5 years ago, and I was on this same kick. But since then, the angels and the universe has said you can't be focused on annihilation all the time, because if you're focused on being annihilated, you're going to call that to yourself. It's like pulling the rabbit card. Rabbit has become scared. He's become fear. And so Rabbit runs out in the middle of the field and goes, Hawk, here I am. Come eat me, because he's scared. And so, for those of you who've been around a while, you've noticed how I've changed my opinion in that got to speak in the positive. So I know there are many people out there. Oh, is it 12:21? Oh, it's time for me to take another hit off of this. But so I have decided I'm going to be that positive speaking. Yeah, there's weird crap and nasty shit out there, but let's let's discuss the workaround. Let's discuss how we can rise above whatever they want to throw at us and all these negative feelings. So no offense, Niles, and I don't mean this if it may sound this way, but it's your choice if you want to live in the despair of the internet. I have many channels. I've got, I don't know, 700 and some odd that I monitor, plus other stuff, right? That's my job. And I see all the negative out there, and I just refuse to get caught up in it. So we monitor the negative and we look at it and go, now, how can I stay out of that chaos? Because to allow yourself to get caught up in any of the chaos, then you have allowed yourself to become part of their matrix, not mine or anybody else's. You become part of their matrix, and you become part of their it, and you become a part of it. So, but when you can pull yourself out of the chaos and go, yeah, there's crap. There's always been crap, always. On Robert's show tonight, he was talking about back in 1811 or something. They were trying to get rid of the Indian and this and that, and the Creek had a couple of the chief had signed treaties with the white man, and the rest of the Creek said, "Oh hell no," and shot him on the spot when they found out, killed him dead right out flat. But then the United States government, and then Andrew Jackson became president, and then there was the Trail of Tears, and all the Indians were moved out of Georgia and all the Alabama and everything, and you know. So 1 minute it's one way, and the next minute it's another. Um, But the thing is that so how do I personally want to look at it? AI would be the greatest thing for humanity because humans are basically neurotic and AI will fill in the gaps. But AI is making dumb mistakes because the information that's been fed into it, because it's being asked to run scenarios. Well, if this happens, then what? And they plug in the information and they go, well, the world will end in 24 hours or some bullshit. But to the point, though, to the point, They want immediate results. A lot of these folks are not into the long term. Let's look, stop and look at the bigger picture. Let's don't get your panties in a bundle or a bunch or a crunch. So a few years ago, I used to think the internet is evil. And I was like, no, it ain't the internet that's evil because information isn't evil. I'm diving into things. I'm looking into more things about the Vatican and stuff years ago, and I'm learning and I'm doing rabbit holes and deep dives and I was consumed with the chaos and the evil of everything that I found. Oh, the satanic rituals, yeah. Oh, and by the way, whatever that was on the Grammys or the thingy the other night, I've only seen clips. That was a satanic ritual if I have ever seen one. These folks are getting blatant, and the thing is that we do not participate. I'm glad I didn't watch it. I was in a way kind of sad that I watched the clip, but they've got a trans man person, something, an in betweener or something, not sure, who is being depicted as Satan and doing this dance with all the pelvic thrust of the women around him. It was it was gross. It was absolutely gross. And the fact that a major network would put it on shows how deeply this stuff is ingrained. Now, do we have to support it? No. Do we can tell other people and we can say, listen, oh, what do you think about that? I thought it was bad. Well, what did you think of the point? I thought it was I thought it was horrible. I thought what they did was in bad taste, especially for America. For America. But whether we're a Christian state or not, to do satanic rituals in front of God and everybody, that I'm sorry, that's just bad taste, and it was, for what I've seen, it was uncalled for. Now we do have this Sunday coming up with the Super Bowl, and they always do some kind of ritual for the Super Bowl halftime. So I do not want to participate in it, the halftime, but I'm really curious because the girl who they were promoting back several weeks ago came out with some kind of long head do thing on that just looked very odd and strange. And why would you wear that? It looked like a serpent on her head in some kind of, again, satanic type ritual. So, not looking forward to that. But here's the thing, their rituals have not worked. We as a collective are still here. Whether we're necessarily Christians or not, we are positive spirit people versus evil spirit people. And our positive energy, our positive spirits, our soul tribeness, if you will. Hey, Steve, how are you? Super Bowl and Olympic opening and closing, revelation of the method. They have to show it to us. Yeah, they have to show it to us to we accept it and they take that as our yeah, right. It we just don't accept it. I mean, if now I don't even know who's playing in the game, right? But if I was to watch the game, I would turn off or not watch the halftime. So how you can still watch a football game and not participate in the halftime. You know, and not participate in the ritual. I remember the Janet Jackson and the open booby. I was like, what? What? They allowed that to happen. So I am not a negative guy by nature. I'm sociable and love to be around people, but I walk hand in hand with my dark side. Well, Niles, for me, I told my dark side to go take a fucking hike. I just, because my dark side was bothering the light. I'm just speaking personally. I ain't speaking about you now. But for me, I had to take my dark side who kept interfering. I was like, you need to just take a freaking hike. You need to get the fuck out of here. I know you're there, but just go away. But go away. I said, I said, go away and just walk in the light. But you too, Isby. But so yeah, I was a positive guy back in the day, but my dark side lingered way too much because all I could, I was learning about dark things to try to understand the light, but what it ended up was I was finding out that the more I learned about the dark side of things, it consumed my emotions. So now I can research dark areas and go, whoa, I need to keep my emotions out of this. I need to read this. I need to find out what's going on here, but I need to keep my emotions out of this. It's the compassionate observer, part of the tribe of one inside, the camp counselor who says, okie dokie now, y'all can listen and y'all can voice an opinion, but I'm the last decision making here. I will listen to all y'all, inside my crazy brain. But whatever the chief says in my tribe of one, that's it. And no complaints, no arguing, no whatever. Now, I got to say that in this tribe of one, the camp counselor can change his mind. If you get new information in and new stuff comes in, as my own camp counselor, there are times when I've had to get the little group together and go, okay, guys, I know I said this, but going to have to readjust that a little bit. Maybe I was a little too hasty in some of my decision making, but we still have to, be careful and whatever, blah, 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 blah. But anyway, but so to the point though, that the camp counselor has the final word, but that doesn't mean that the final word can't be changed because of circumstances and other information within the self and outside and the universe of things, right? It's being persistent in learning how to adapt to new situations. Because, like, I got in the mail yesterday a notice that says, my doctor is no longer my doctor. And that my doctor now is some guy I've never met who's supposedly now my doctor. Wait a minute, hang on, back up a bit. So Social Security has decided that I now have a new doctor for whatever reason. But I'm going back to my same doctor on Friday, and we're gonna find out what the hell's going on. But so there are people trying to make decisions for me that what? What if I don't want to go to this other doctor? What? But they have made the decision for me because I got the paper right over there. I'm going to a new doctor tomorrow because last week I got a phone call from the neurosurgery and they said, Dr. Clark, your doctor, He ain't your doctor no more. And we can't tell you why. He ain't your doctor no more, but he's no longer here. So now tomorrow I'm going to yet another doctor, same office building, who's actually been in Thomasville for 30 some odd years or more, and has a good reputation. So, but you know, what was going along this direction 10 days ago is now all of a sudden just totally different direction. So, in my persistence of trying to figure out if there can, whether surgery is blah, blah, blah or not, or whatever, my persistence and my patience, because you got to wait on these folks. So life is it again. So tomorrow's a new day with two doctor's appointments for me. And so I'm going to get off of here in just a few minutes because I just can't stay on long. I got to get to bed and get some sleep. Had to have his sinuses opened up. What about noon today? I missed. Boy, I know what you mean, Travis. Make you laugh. I blow snot all the time. And at noon today, I'll be between doctor's offices. I'll be on my way to Thomasville to doctor number two. But I agree with you, Travis. But to the point, though, we can read about dark stuff. We just can't live it. We can't allow it to affect us. And it's not necessarily that we have to be cold hearted, the compassionate observer. So there are times when we can allow our compassion to come out. I like them poor folks that, over there that are trying to recover from the earthquakes. That's horrible. It really is. Wouldn't wish it on anybody. But that's why I live down here in South Georgia where there ain't no earthquakes. You know, how do you deal with such things? I live in an area where there ain't no earthquakes. You know, we have tornadoes, we have hurricanes, but we do not have earthquakes. We have floods, we have droughts, but we don't have earthquakes. So, I made that choice. Well, I can put up with this other stuff, but there ain't no earthquakes. Okay. So, but anyway, despair or delight, fortune or failure. Point is, I cannot pick a side between dark and light. One is never without the other. They always exist, Niles. It's yin and yang. But which one do you focus on? It's the story of the two wolves, the white wolf and the black one. Which one wins? The one you feed, So if you're always seeing the darkness, if, I know the darkness is out there, but I just, out of sight, out of mind, so I stay in the light. I know the darkness is there, but so anyway, it's a personal choice to walk that line if you want to. So there are folks who have become the gray wolf in that they feed them both. They feed both wolves. So it's 50 shades of gray in a way. I haven't been able to get it. There's a lot of sorrow in this world, especially with the pain and sorrow of the people that are dealing with the tragedy over there in the Middle East with the I was going to say tornadoes with the earthquakes. We have tornadoes here, which will flatten areas and everything. And so, having been through hurricanes that have flattened everything, I understand how those folks must feel. But I don't, the amount of folks that have perished, buried under the rubble and so forth. I'm very sorry about that, really. But I can't live in their agony. I cannot accept their agony because if I accept their agony, then I that it shuts down the light. So I have to know that it's there and pray continue more light because of their agony. So, but if I accept that agony upon myself, then I don't have enough energy to overcome the agony within myself to send them positive energy. Does that make sense? So, in this understanding of the universe and accept and receive and being able to share it with the universe. So, if I accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the blessings from the universe, I know there's evil out there, but I don't accept it. I don't have to accept negative feelings from out there in the universe. Do they exist? Yeah, but I don't have to accept them. Well, I hate your guts. Okay, sorry about that, but I still love you. You know, you walk the path of duality. Yeah, okay. Um, Um, but I see, I did that for a long time, Niles, and now I have realized that I told that dark side to just go. I know he's there. He's over there in the room over there, and he raises his ugly head and wants to scream at me. Yeah, okay, hi, but I just choose to walk in the light. I know the duality's there. I know the evil is there. I know that darkness must exist in order for the light, but I just choose to stay in the light, is all. That's all. But I understand where you're talking about the duality thingy because I walked it for a long time. Watch some of my earlier videos of 4, 5, 6 years ago. But the lady needs prayers too. All righty. Actually, you can, Niles. You can tune that shit out. Much like I tune out the physical pain that I have in my back. You can tune it out, but you still know it's there. I know that if I want to, I know that, there has been any particular thing we can pray for, you Pearl? Any kind of narrow it down kind of thing? Which wolf do you feed? Yeah. I was just walking in the darkness a few minutes ago, then I turned on a light. There you go. And the thing is, also, Travis, with that said, and I've talked about this, I've learned how to walk around in the dark. It's sort of in that astral sense. You learn how to get around in the dark, or at least in low light. to where other people need to have a spotlight on them, or they got to have 100-watt bulbs or whatever. And one of the eagle card that I pulled tonight on Robert's channel, upside down, is that to remember that the light is always available in the universe for those who seek it. The light is always there for those who seek it. It's not like it's shut off or whatever. It's always there. And I was like, oh, wow. And you hear me preach every time I do a video to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the benefits from the universe on alternator. Okay, Pearl. I like the philosophy of the conversation, even if it's like choosing between siblings. I don't. Not that I'm arguing with you, Niles, but I've got siblings that like to argue all the time, and I used to be that way myself, but now I choose to, and I can listen to them argue, and I just choose not to argue back. That's I can still listen to their point of view. I still have my point of view, but in the old days, I used to argue with them. And that created conflict in and of itself. So um, it's hard to have sibling rivalry when there's only one of them rivaling. With this one, okay, fine. You know, I see you over there. So I choose not to engage in it. It doesn't mean that I'm ignoring it or that I'm floating above it. I choose not to engage in it. So let them argue, let them fuss, let them jump up and down. But, you can push all those buttons you used to push on me before, and they just don't work because I refuse to accept any negativity from that area or whatever. I refuse to allow this person to get me pissed off. You make a decision. The camp counselor says, nope. Whoever used to get pissed off at this guy, you're not allowed out of your room. You hear me? You hear me? You hear me? You're not allowed in your room. You can't come out. Everybody else is allowed to come out, but you got to stay in your room unless you're going to behave. So within myself, and I used to be very loud and very argumentative. Oh my God. And so I could piss somebody off in a heartbeat. Oh my God. So I'll pray for the mechanic, right? If I could, I'd put the alternator on if I could from here, but I just don't have that kind of power yet. So yeah, hey Susie Q, how you doing? So yeah, we can, you know, here's Niles. Here's a strange example that my spirit guides are sending me at the moment. There's the path of life that we choose to go down. Well, there are ditches on either side of the road. Okay. And either side of the road, even though you're going in the right direction, can get you hung up. Okay. So, but on the right side of the road in the ditches is water and piranha fish, and they hungry. Anything that falls into this ditch is just going to get munched up on. Okay. And on the other side of the ditch, there are flowers and greens, and there are herbs and stuff growing in the ditch to sustain life rather than eat life. So what you still going down the road. But which side of the road would you rather be on? Would you rather be on the side? You're still going in the same direction. But would you rather be on the right or the left side? Don't matter. Pick your ditch, right? But one ditch has got piranha fish and the other side has got goodies. Which one do you choose? Lean towards the one with the good stuff. You want to stay out of the ditch with the walligators and the crocodiles and the piranha fish. Stay out of away from that side of the road. That's all. You know that side of the road is over there. You know that ditch is over there. You know them piranha fishes and them alligators is in that ditch. And you know they're there, but do you have to worry about it all the time? Do you have to fret upon it? Do you have to live in fear of the piranha as long as you stay on your side of the road? You know what I mean? So, with that said, um, so traveling in the road down the road of life, do what's you know, we know it's over there. We acknowledge it, but we don't have to focus on it. That's all. We focus on it when we need to, when it's important. And that's where the compassionate observer comes in. The compassion, hopefully, within us says that, oh my God, I need to pay attention to this. Now, I cannot help them folks over in Afghanistan and over there with the earthquakes, except I can meditate and send prayers and just positive energy, because them folks who are have no hope. Of all the things we can send in our minds is hope. All right, a positive energy to them folks that there's still hope that they'll make it through it all. But now, if there was a tornado up the road or when the hurricane came through here, there were neighbors I could go and physically visit and help. That's different. So I could go out and have dinner with them and physically give them hope, help them with their something, blah, 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 blah. And, but, somebody that's on the other side of the world. So to allow my emotions to get caught up with something on the other side of the planet, I can send prayers, I can send hope. But if I'm carrying agony and the burden of that agony, then it lessens my energy to send them hope. So there are enough people crying about it. There are enough people wailing. We have to be the light in the darkness. When everybody else is crying, we got to stand up and say, okay, we got this prayer, folk. I'm so worried about my dog. She's my best friend. But wait, I'm so scared. $700. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Travis, I am fixing to get out of here. It has been an hour and a half, and I do have to get up earlier tomorrow and go to the doctor's. So, but I do love you all. And just remember, we gotta always keep an eye on the chaos. But we it's up to us to make the choice as to whether or not we accept the chaos into our lives. And when I learned that I had that control, when I learned it, wait a minute, I don't have to accept that. I can see it, I can pay attention to it, I can have empathy, but I don't have to be consumed by it. And that's what was happening to me. And I know there are some other folks. You're welcome, Travis, anytime. You know, and keep up the good work. Cheers to you. But in this life of stuff, it is absolutely our choice as to whether or not, and I mean on a daily basis. It's sometimes minute by minute, as to whether or not we're going to do this or go that way. We're going to go down this road or go that way or whatever. Yeah, and when we're in a positive mood and prepared to do cards or whatever, we gave shed to the negative. Yep. Did you mean we agree to shed the negative? But I agree with that. So listen, I would hang out with y'all more, but I really do. And I'm tired to boot. I had visitors today and some other stuff, but um, you know, I know it's tough for people to stay in the positive, but we don't have to live in the negative. It's our choice. And as a wise angel said several years ago to me, it's okay to be negative. You got 10 minutes. you know, you want to be pissed off? You got 10 minutes. Give yourself a time limit. If you gotta if you gotta feel emotional for those people, and if you gotta think about, oh, there are people trapped and there are people that, okay, if you've gotta, but set that egg timer for 10 minutes and then be done with it. If you feel that you owe it to the universe to share the agony somehow, and trust me, I have shared agony at times where there was something where, remember them boys that was stuck under it in the caves and couldn't get out back then? I did a couple of videos. I was have been in caves and so forth, and I could feel empathy for them, and I really felt for them boys. And having had tragedy, having you know been around several tornadoes that went through Tampa back in the day, and tornadoes that have come through here, and the that humongous hurricane that came through. Uh, have seen destruction and have lived it and been around it and lived through it. But I don't have to be it. I can choose to accept or receive that. And I send my prayers, I send my condolences, but I don't have to be in agony over it. But how do you know that the flowers and herbs in one ditch is not a mask for the piranha? Maybe the flowers are on the other side. Well, Niles, because it's freaking obvious. That's how you know. The flowers aren't concealing anything. It's this is the good side of the road, and that's the bad side of the road. There is no, don't make up a third. you know, there are plants that grow up where the piranha live, but the piranha do not live where the plants are because there ain't water. Okay, it's different. It's a different terrain. But to the point, though, uh, that's funny. See, you're looking for the negative. It's just a ditch full of flowers and herbs. The other's a ditch full of gators and piranha. It's just that simple. Maybe you're on the wrong road and your ditches are filled full of, sounds like it's much love to all. Good night. Okay, that way. Good to see you. Yeah. Yep, Susie Q, you yell and scream and jump about, but here's the thing, there are some folks as well, I shouldn't get upset over about it. No, go ahead. But you got 10 minutes because we're human. When we don't allow ourselves to express our emotions, then things get pent up and then it makes us psychotic. So, no, go ahead and vent, but give yourself a time limit. That's all. And if something's going to make me sad, I'll be like, oh man, and I'll be crying and tears are running down. And I'll look outside and say, no, I cannot allow this to be the rest of my day. Whatever tears I'm shedding, whatever I'm crying is allowable for this moment. But I'm not going to cry all day long. I'm making that choice. So, yes, I'm crying, and yes, I'm boohooing, and yes, I'm just really sad, but my whole day is not going to be this. Thank you that way for coming. So, but anyway, in this, so these are the choices that we make with whatever comes our way. So, but go ahead and be angry. Go ahead and be sad. Go ahead and be full of anguish. Go ahead and be pissed. Whatever it is, but then return to the compassionate observer. You know, when it's time to cry, you will. When it's time to be happy, you will. But if you try to keep a smile on your face despite what's going on, and I know I keep using my jail thingy, but other people were, oh, I hate the guards and I hate this and I hate that and blah blah blah. And I was like, well, I'm the one that committed the crime, and they're just people too, and they're just doing a job. And so if I want to make it through, then if I do my job in the kitchen well, I had filet mignon when nobody else did. I had fresh vegetables and fresh fruit when a lot of other people didn't. We had things that we could make and cook in the kitchen because we were the kitchen staff, and we were making up stuff all the time. Oh man, it was good food. We had whatever was cooked in the kitchen. If we didn't like it, we cooked our own shit, you know. And so because we could, you know, but as long as we did our jobs, they didn't care what if we cooked something different for our own meal within the kitchen staff. That was the price of being part of the kitchen staff. So, but anyway, but even though you were in jail, we were eating good. And where everybody else was just, getting by, we were eating filet mignon and other stuff, and bacon wrapped, oh boy, howdy, and that, and, fried sweet taters and, and yum, yum, just stuff. So, but we was in jail, but it was enjoyable. We played cards. We had our own little TV. We had our own little system because we were good at our jobs and we kept to ourselves, and nobody bothered us. Nobody bothered us. That's how you play the game without having to go out of your way, you know? So bad times, good times, what, oh, well, this thing, that, oh, well, it could have been, yeah. Oh, and it could have, yeah, could have, should have. But, had a year sentence, and you just had to be patient and wait it out and be persistent in your beliefs and make it through. So life is like that. Sometimes life is slogging through another day. Sometimes life is just, oh my God, I gotta do this again. Oh my God, I can't believe I can't. Oh my God. Right? Right, Michelle? But when we smile and understand the patience, and if you're slogging through another day of routine, you look at the bigger picture and say, well, for whatever it, yeah, I can, somebody out there making noise. So whatever the tamada, but anyway, so for us, what we just need to do is just say, listen, you know, take a deep breath, and that's where the patience of it comes in. And just whatever it is, just. But anyway, I love you all, and I continue to pray that each and every day, that each and every one of you will continue to learn to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many blessings in the universe. And I've already said it a couple of times, but in that law of three, which I know at least it is to me, I continue to pray that each and every day, that each and every one of you, your friends, your family, and all of your relatives and relations, that's a big deal, will continue to learn to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many blessings out there in the universe. Remember in the Eagle card that I pulled early on the other channel tonight, is that the light of the universe is always there for those who seek illumination. The light is always there for those who seek illumination. And for those who look for darkness, that's all you're going to find. So, but anyway, I love you all. Be safe. And it's almost 2 hours. Oh my goodness. Susie, much love to you. Cosmic hugs, everybody. Okay. Stay safe. And when your patience wears thin, just try to remember, just take a deep breath. The universe will be here in another 10 seconds or 2 minutes or tomorrow, you know. And if it blows up between now and tomorrow, it was nice knowing you. And how are we going to know we got blowed up anyway? Just saying. Live life the best way you can and try not to let the frustration, rule your life because that's part of, that's where fear lies is in the frustration. So be safe, my friends. Until next time, I will talk to you soon, I hope. I'm still haven't given up wanting to do a card reading night. So please be safe, y'all. And my prayers are always with you. So until next time, be safe. We love you. Yeah, it's the opposite of here, Michelle. Yep. And it's gonna take over us. I was frustrated the other day, and as I was frustrated, I said, I just can't allow this to continue. Although I was frustrated for a short time, I said, okay, I see it. You're frustrated. Okay. Okay. You're frustrated. Now get over it. And my body was saying, no, I want to be frustrated just a little more. And I said, okay, but, you got about a half an hour here and then I'm pulling the plug, So, my friends, please be sweet, you know. Frustrated. Yep, absolutely. Flabbergasted. So until next time, my friends, cheers, everybody, and do be safe, okay? Love you.